studio, I got there and it was a party. It's a bunch of people. They not doing nothing. They just around, and none of these people were a part of like the core 10 that's together when we're on the road. Like, it's different than the people that's at his house, that's around him, and when we on the road, I kicked everybody out. I said everybody. Like, I told everybody get out. And then he was recording or something. I went off on a lot of his friends because I'm telling them like, yo, y'all just let him do anything. Like, y'all let him do whatever, like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that might have bothered Dave. It was another time where, because I started my management company and I was turning into a label, I had other artists, but I had called a meeting between all the producers I have, the artists I have, and it was for everybody to have a conversation like, yo, listen, Dave is on, like, I got Dave, he's doing this, but I wanted everybody to come together.
Yeah, I see why Dave East fired Wayno as his manager, because, bruh, like, it's normal for a rapper to be in the studio with a bunch of people. That's normal, bro. Like, if y'all ever watch a live stream like a DDG or Blueface or any rapper in the studio, they're usually gonna be in the studio with 20 to 30 people, right? You got a select few artists that don't feel comfortable recording with a lot of people in the studio. Some artists only want to be in the studio with their engineer or their manager, right? But a lot of the street rappers, they love to be in the studio with a bunch of people. Sometimes it's a bunch of their homies. Sometimes it's some homies and a bunch of, you know, beautiful women in the studio to set the vibe. You know what I'm saying? You got to have the ladies in the studio, and they're most likely going to have some weed. They're going to have some liquor. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what they feel comfortable doing. So it sounds like Wayno, who was Dave East's manager at the time, he wasn't comfortable being around a bunch of these dudes that he doesn't know. But if that's the case, Wayno, you could have left. But the fact that you took it upon yourself to kick everybody out when Dave East is the one who invited everybody there, that's disrespectful, bruh. Like, Dave East is a grown-ass man. You a grown-ass man. Like, that's something that Dave East is, like, that's something that a parent would do, bruh. Like, you tried to son Dave East, bruh. Like, what you did, that's something Dave East's father would have did. You know what I'm saying? That's like Dave East's father coming into the studio and kicking everybody out. Everybody get out. I just want to talk to my son. Like, Wayno, like, just because you're somebody's manager doesn't give you the right to disrespect them and their friends, bro. That's disrespectful, bro. You can't be doing that. So after Wayno did this interview with Vlad TV, Dave East didn't like it. Dave East immediately reached out to Wayno and let Wayno know that he's not feeling the fact that he's going on these platforms like Vlad TV, one of the biggest, you know, rap hip hop platforms in the world, and exposing all of his business. And Wayno is basically taking the gloves off and saying, you know what? You know, I feel like I was wrong by you firing me. I feel like, you know, you were ungrateful for everything I did for your career. So now I'm going to double down and I'm going to tell everybody everything that I was keeping from the public, because, you know, Wayno feels like he wasn't treated fairly by Dave East, you know, and getting fired by Dave East. You know what I'm saying? Even though Dave East to this day is probably the only artist that was successful being managed by Wayno, right? According to Vlad TV, Dave East helped Wayno become a millionaire. Dave East is the reason why Wayno moved out of the projects, him getting him that deal with Def Jam. But Wayno just seems very bitter towards that situation. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's kind of treating this situation like when he's thinking about a bitter ex-girlfriend from the past. You know what I'm saying? Like, so let's get into what Wayno had to say in this new interview.
Dave East's career, you know what I'm saying? It's people have spoke on like how hard you were going. People say you went overboard, you know, for that situation there.
Yeah.
Looking back at it now, right? Is there anything that you feel like you would have done differently when it came to that management situation?
I would have kept it more business than personal.
You had your heart in it, you mean?
I would have kept it way more, no, just my relationship with him. I would have kept it way more business than personal, because I'm gonna keep it 100, bro. I don't have no relationship with Dave East at all.
Zero.
No, we don't have no relationship. And just most recently when I did Vlad's interview, when I spoke about him, one thing, niggas could call me whatever they want. I ain't a bitch and I ain't a liar. That's two things I'm not. I'm not a bitch or a liar.
Yeah, you could tell there's a lot of hatred that Wayno has towards Dave East, because think about it, guys, right? after Davies fired Wayno as his manager, you know, Wayno became the co-host of Everyday Struggle because remember, Joe Budden quit. So it was Academics and Wayno in the desk on Everyday Struggle. And that only lasted for like, close to a year before the show officially got canceled. And ever since then, I'm going to be honest, bruh, that's the last time I heard of Wayno. I haven't seen or heard of Wayno since he was on Everyday Struggle. You know what I'm saying? So Davies being the only artist that he was able to make real money off of, right? Got him a major record deal with Def Jam, got the biggest check of his life, moved his family out the projects, right? Vlad, the interview he did with Vlad, he's saying that helped him become a millionaire, right? It seems like Wayno is just holding on to that. But my thing is this, Wayno, why don't you find another Davies? Why don't you invest in another artist and learn from the mistakes that you made with Davies and do the same thing again? Because Davies is doing this thing, bruh. Now, Davies didn't end up becoming one of the top artists like a J. Cole or a Drake or a Kendrick. But Davies is one of my favorite rappers, bro. Davies drops albums on the regular. You know what I'm saying? Davies is still putting out music. Davies got his own podcast with Jim Jones, Wayno, and Fabulous, the Let's Rap About It podcast. I love that podcast. Make sure y'all check that out. Davies is also on the TV series with the Wu-Tang Clan. You know what I'm saying? Davies doing this thing, bro. And it seemed like Wayno was on the outside looking in like, damn, like I did all of these things for this dude. And right before he even really like blew up for real, he fired me. You know what I'm saying? And Wayno, bro, like you a grown ass man, bro. Like move on, bro. Like, bro, this is so many years ago, guys. Like Davies fired Wayno years ago, bro. Like probably like close to 10 years ago this happened, bro. And the fact that he's still talking about this, and I'm not saying this is what you're doing, Wayno, but it's making you look like a clout chaser, bro. Like, it's making it seem like you ain't got no motion, and you're trying to get people to start watching you, and the only way you feel like you can do that is by talking about Davies, bro. And I'm gonna be honest, bro, like, that's lame, bro. Like, you threatening to expose Davies, and you're gonna tell everybody what he did. That's some sucker shit, bro. I don't respect it. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into what else Wayno had to say.
Get our relationship with that nigga. You know what I mean? Because end of the day, I put in a lot of time for this nigga. You know what I mean? A lot of time as far as work, resources. You know what I mean? Because I cared. It was two things. It was one was this. I was doing management. I had a couple of artists that I worked with that it didn't work. And then I had one that I was like, all right, if I could get one to work, it's gonna grant opportunity, not just for me, but for whomever that is. Mm-hmm. And I could really build something off of that. And we built some real shit. Mm-hmm. And at the point where we built some real shit, that nigga's selfish ass ways is what crumbled everything. You know what I mean? I know like this is the first time I'm even speaking about this, and I don't mind speaking about it because I will speak about it more in detail on my platform if I feel that way. Mm-hmm. But I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Every time a nigga name come up and they say, oh, what happened? Oh, no, you know, we just had our differences and we walked away. Nigga, if you know me and my wife was together for mad...
Yeah, you clout chasing, bruh. You looked at Davies as your golden ticket, which he was, right? Gave you the biggest paycheck of your life. And you thought that you and Davies were going to have a long-term relationship working together in the industry. And you thought that the success of a Davies was going to bring you more artists that you could have managed, right? Which makes a lot of sense. But Wayno, the reality of the situation is this, bro. While you were managing Davies, you were more emotional than logical. You did things that were disrespectful, bro. Kicking all of his homies out of the studio, disrespectful. You set up a meeting with people that you were working with. You didn't invite Davies to the meeting because you felt some type of way about him just moving how he was moving. You know, you claimed that Davies would show up late, but Davies found out that you set up a meeting without him, and he felt some type of way about that, as he should, because he's your biggest artist. He's the artist that got you the biggest check in your life, and you set up a whole meeting and didn't say nothing to him. Like, bro, that's disrespectful, bro. And since then, you haven't done anything, bro. You went on Everyday Struggle. You was on there for less than a year. And since then, we haven't heard anything from you, bro. You're bitter, bro. And you're using Davies' name And you heard what he said, right? He said that he's gonna dive into this more on his own platform. So he's gonna go on his own channel and he's gonna expose all of Dave East's dirty secrets, when in all actuality, bruh, nobody cares, bruh. At the end of the day, bruh, like, Dave East, I'm gonna be honest, bro, the fact that he's this mad at Dave East when Dave East doesn't have any platinum albums, Dave East doesn't have any, I don't think Dave East has one song that went gold or platinum, right? Dave East is a successful underground rapper, bro. His mainstream run on Def Jam, it didn't live up to the potential that it had. And this is a person, Dave East is one of my favorite rappers, right? Like, Dave East just dropped a song with Joyner Lucas a couple months ago. I think it's fire. But Dave East did not have the major label success of a Kendrick Lamar, of a J. Cole, of a Drake. He doesn't even collaborate with too many of the mainstream rappers like that, bruh. You know what I'm saying? He's a successful independent artist, right? And look, Dave East is on the podcast now. We all know whenever you see a rapper start their own podcast, that means that their music career, they not really taking their music career serious no more. So I don't understand why Wayno is so upset. Like, Wayno was acting like Dave East fired him and Dave East became the hottest rapper in the world. That was never the case. You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, I'm pretty sure Dave East has made more money doing acting than actual music. I can guarantee, like whatever he was making off that Wu-Tang TV series he had on Hulu, he probably made more money doing that than off of actual music. You know? I know he makes most of his money doing club appearances and stuff like that, but Dave East isn't out here selling out stadiums. Dave East isn't out here going on international tours, bro. He doesn't have the fan base to do that. So the fact that Wayno is this mad, bro, like, Wayno, bro, you need to get right with God, get over it, and move on with your life, bro. You're a grown ass man, bro. Like, you're acting like Dave East is like you're acting like that's your ex-girlfriend or something, bro. It's giving Diddy vibes. And listen, Wayno, I'm not trying to disrespect you. I'm just being honest with you, bro, because obviously nobody that knows you is telling you this, bro. Stop this shit, bro. It's lame. It's lame, bro. It's making it seem like you're obsessed with Dave East, bro. And listen, I know you're not the one. I know the interviewers are asking you about Dave East because that's what we know you for. We only know you for managing Dave East and being on Everyday Struggle. So tell interviewers to stop asking you about that man, bro. Dave East, there's not one interview since he fired you. I think he did one interview on the Breakfast Club and he had positive things to say about you, bro. You see, you're trying to paint this narrative that Dave East is a bad person, but I can't find one interview of Dave East disrespecting you and violating you like you're doing in this interview. So with that being said, it's your boy Daze. Let me know what y'all think about this. Make sure y'all subscribe, thumbs up the video, click that hype button for your boy. And let me know what y'all boys think about this in the comment section, man. I'm out.